I've started the recording. That's great. Wonderful. Perfect. Perfect. So I'm so sorry. Yesterday, my system RAM was corrupted. Today also, like I'm just running half of the RAM, and it's still going up on there. Um, Great. So let's get started with today's session. Now, the agenda for today's session is very simple. That we are going to talk about the core functionalities, like where we are going to discuss about the version control system. So I just really wanted to understand from you guys, like, what do you actually have heard about version control system? What's the importance on this one? Anyone?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So I was saying I don't have any idea on that. I mean, I have heard about that, the DevOps pipeline, but don't know much.
Okay.
So basically, it's a folder which can store, data or code, or yeah. So you can track anything, manage, right?
So you rightly said that think of this one as a kind of a logical folder where we are keeping up the source code in a place. Because see, imagine like you and me, we are like doing the development, we are creating a project into our local system. And if something happens to my system, like for example, take an example of yesterday's, right? So luckily it was just a RAM, and I just removed there were two RAMs into my system. I removed one RAM, and the system got recovered there, right? But there was no issue with the storage. But imagine, because I have so much data available there, like all these presentations, all these TOCs. So I also thought yesterday that, like I'm just taking up a risk because all of my data is present into my local system, all right? And this is something which is very, very crucial, very, very critical, because if something goes wrong, it's definitely going to be a disaster. So that's why we have to really see and understand that how like how exactly we want to go and keep our secure sorry, keep our source code secure, because we don't want to lose that part, and definitely we want to keep it up in a proper manner here. So version control system is something which is very crucial, and it's like really going to help you to understand that how the implementations are really going to be running through over here in this one. So that's a very important aspect here. Now, when we are working with the version control system, so there are some couple of things which we have to keep in mind. First of all, as a DevOps engineer, are we supposed to do any hardcore implementation of on these tools? No, that's not the case. We are not supposed to do any kind of an hardcore development or any kind of an hardcore activity on the version control system. So what exactly we are going to do on the version control system is that just have a basic idea on how to interact with this tool when we are going to do the changes, when we are going to do the fixes. So how the implementations are going to be done, going to be performed. So that's an important aspect which we have to run through over here. So that's a very important and very crucial aspect, because usually we have an issue in there that how these mechanisms are going to be settled down here. Now, if we don't have the version control system, we will be able to lose our source code. And for a IT company, for a software company, source code is something which is going to be everything. Like everything is going to be present, and we will be able to these kind of and stuffs there. All right. Now, there are different version control systems there. If we talk about this version control system 5, 6 years back, then definitely there are like a bunch of categories which is present. So we can still debate like, okay, which version control system we should be using, which version control system we should not be using. But in this case, in this scenario, when it comes to the like latest one, so Git at this moment of time is one of the most popular tool available there in the market. Like you and me, we are like easily go and have a connectivity with this version control system, and we don't have to worry about any kind of an issues as such. So that's the biggest advantage and benefit which we have over here in this one, right? Now, if you see this architecture, the overall architecture of version control system, you see like there is a repository. Now, what is the purpose of this repository? So the main purpose of this repository is that on this repository, one or different developers are really going to connect, and these developers are really going to perform the changes. Or in a simple sense, you and me, we all are connected, or we all are having an access to a central repo. So you and me, we all are going to do the changes to this repository, and we are going to work on that particular changes over here. So version control system is a necessary aspect of a modern development organizations. So you cannot say that this is a kind of an concept which is not being used to that much level, or this is not a like something which you're going to use or implement here. So it's a very crucial aspect. Now, when it comes to the Git version control system, there are some couple of um, vendors which is available there in a layman language. We can call it out as vendors, or we can call it out as companies. So we have like, for example, GitHub, we have like Bitbucket, we have like GitLab. So these are like all different brands which is definitely going to be like present over here. And what is the purpose of these different brands? So the main purpose of these different brands is like we are really going to see like how the implementations are going to be addressed, how we are going to manage those kind of in components here. Like for example, GitHub. So we have GitHub, we have Bitbucket, and we have GitLab here. Now, a lot of time people actually call them as um, a Git version control system, but that's not a correct statement. Sorry, they call them as version control system, but that's not the correct statement. These all or these three different brands is actually is a kind of an component, and we will be like definitely going to see that how that mechanism are going to be like managed here. So we are like definitely going to have that kind of an aspect. So now it's again your choice that whether you want to go for the GitHub, you want to go for Bitbucket, or you want to go for GitLab. It's completely up to you that which kind of an version control system you really wish like you want to manage, and you want to maintain over there, because according to that only we will be able to get a hold of those kind of an functionalities. All right. But in this example, we will be going for GitHub because it's a widely utilized tool, and a lot of organizations are using it. Yes, Hari, you have any question?
No, no, sorry, I don't forget to go on mute.
Okay. Just one second. Okay. Now we have GitHub. Like we will be focusing on GitHub tool here, right? So we can actually go for Bitbucket also. Like if you wish, like we can go for Bitbucket also here, right? So that's also like something we can do. But again, it's like completely a choice of the organization, because like maybe this one organization using GitHub, another using Bitbucket, another one is using GitLab. So like it actually varies from company to company. But of course, what we can entirely go and do over here is to understand that how we can enhance, or we can do the various operations, because these operations are not going to differ most of the cases. Like there is a slightly cost here and there differences there, definitely it's there, but we don't have like a very huge difference in the way, like how GitHub is going to be used, how Bitbucket is going to be used, how GitLab is going to be used. Because if I work on different projects, right, so I have seen, like for example, in my company itself, we have GitHub also, we have Bitbucket also, but some of our projects are running on Bitbucket, some of our projects are running on GitHub. So that doesn't mean that GitHub and Bitbucket are totally different tools there. In fact, one of the interesting fact is that if you are like really like trying to work on GitHub, and you want to like import the repository, it does gives you an option that if you want to have the repository from from the other version control systems, like from Bitbucket or GitLab, it does gives you that option. All you have to do is like you have to just give the URL, give a username, give a access token, and then it will simply go ahead and import it out there. I remember like 3-4 years back, we actually did an kind of an activity where we were using like a Bitbucket cloud, right? So all our repositories were present over there. And then what we did, because see, GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, they all are present for on-premise also. Right now, we are using a SaaS model, like a software as a service. On the portal only, you are going to access all these components. But the moment if you feel like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work on the on premises, it's a private infrastructure, private server, then you definitely have the option to download or install these softwares onto your local system, and then work it off with these kind of tools there. So even that possibility is also really available there. In the same thing, like I can log into Bitbucket also, because I have an credentials over there. So let me go and show you that part. Now, whatever the terminologies and commands when we are going to learn, right? So that is also going to be agnostic of the tool which we are using here. You see, import option. You give a URL, you give the authentication, like the username, password. It will work for you, right? There are so many tools, like third-party tools available there, which we can go and we can utilize. With which we will be able to import the multiple repositories from one account to like GitLab. It's all possible, and it's not like a very big task there. So the idea is that if someone goes and work on the GitHub, and in a like a project you have a Bitbucket or GitLab, you don't have to panic, you don't have to worry about, because it's going to be very easy for you to work and interact with those things. So you don't have to spend too much of time on there and like worrying about that part here. So I'm going to show you with the Visual Studio Code, like how we, check out the code, how we do the commits, how we do the changes. So we will talk about that part here. So I'm going to focus more on GitHub, right? Being because most of my repositories, example codes and everything is in GitHub. But frankly speaking, it's not mandatory that you have to go for the GitHub. You want to use Bitbucket or GitLab, it's your choice, right? Now, when you talk about the version control system, there are two type of version control systems. The one which we are talking about is like Git is called as a distributed version control system. The one which we have in the previous case in the legacy mechanism, it's called as an like a centralized version control system. Now, centralized version control system was very simple. That you have a central repository, right? Every developer, every machine will connect to that central repository and do the changes. If that central repository is not present, you will not be able to do any changes. If the network between your system and the central repository is broken, you will not be able to do anything there. So it's a legacy approach. I have personally worked on that tool. There was a very famous tool called Subversion, which organization was using in that case for the source code management. But things have changed over the period of time, and now we have like Git almost being used everywhere. Now, what is the difference between Git and Subversion or centralized version control system? There must be some difference definitely over here, right? Because it's not random that people are like starting implementing this particular tool over here. So there would be definitely a kind of an aspect or a component available here. So what happens in distributed version control system? The reason why we say as distributed is not like a single copy. So here we are not dealing with a single copy, because the problem with a single copy is that if something happens to that, multiple individuals are stuck. If I'm like going to do some changes, if my network is not working, if my VPN is not working, it's all good done. Like I will not be able to do anything in there. Like it's going to be a big constraint on that. So that's why it's very crucial, or it's very important for us to understand that how the implementations are really going to be done, going to be performed, and then according to that, we will be able to get those kind of a system here. So that's very important here. So the way that how we work in the distributed version control system is that we get a local repository, which is nothing but a clone of a remote repository. So you will be getting up a local repo, and this local repository is where like you are going to do all the changes, all the modifications, everything we are going to do, and we will be like performing up those kind of a functionalities here. So definitely that's what we will be performing, and we will be conducting here. So we will be taking care of those kind of stuff here. So that's the important part here. All right. Now, um, now again, here there are some possibilities of failures. And what is the possibilities of failures? The possibility of failures is like if at all the remote repository is gone, the central one, if it's gone, everyone knows it's like something which can be possible there, right? So if that is gone, in centralized version control system, we are totally stuck. Why we are totally stuck? Because you don't have anything to connect, and it's like all gone, and you will not be able to do anything there. But here in distributed architecture, the reason why we will be able to proceed, the reason why we will be able to work, because with this one, we will be able to really go ahead and perform the things in a much simple and state over here in this one, because we naturally need to see like how these mechanisms are going to be rolled up here. So it's a very important aspect which we have to look upon, and we can like do that kind of in like scenarios here. So that's why it's like a crucial aspect to be talked about, to be considered here. All right. Now what's the okay. Now, of course, when my system is gone, like for example, this work system or workstation is gone, is there any impact? No, not at all. Why? Because of the fact that it's a local repo. The way that how we work is like we take a clone of a remote repository, we take a copy of the remote repository into a local system, and we are definitely like we are definitely going to like
अब
have a
जाने से पहले बता
copies.
देना या तो
Hari,
फोन रख
can
देना
you
यहीं पे.
Harry, can you please mute yourself?
Oh, sorry.
So in distributed, what happens that even if your workstation is gone, you're not the only person who is having the copy of this repository, right? So there are different individuals which is really going to be present over here, who is going to do all the work, all the functionalities. So they are the one which is taking care of that kind of and stuff here. And that's a very important aspect. That's a very like important aspect which is available there, because we have to be crucial about that, right? So distributed is one of the reason why this is so popular, because everyone is like working upon this kind of a component. They are feeling like how this is going to work, and we are going to get these kind of functionalities here. So we will be working with this one, right? So you will see yourself that the remote repository will be like checked out as a local repository into your local system, and you are really going to work on that particular repository. Like you will be able to easily go ahead and start working on that. So the reason why we call it out as a distributed, because it's actually scattered around different machines, different individual system. So that's why we call it out as a distributed version control system, so that we will be able to enhance and work it out with that kind of an component here. All right. So this is the way how the things are going to be talked about here. Any kind of doubts on this diagram, because it's a very crucial kind of an component, and we need to see like how this thing works.
Could you please go on centralized one again?
Yeah. Centralized we don't use nowadays. Actually, like we like have the like this one is not being used anyhow.
Okay, okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
The reason why we don't use the centralized, because of the legacy nature of this architecture, that it like really have a huge dependency over here. All right, great. Now, as far as the tools is considered, one more feature of the distributed. Okay, I think that is something which I will show you like once we go for that. Mhm. I mean, like, of course, there are so many commands and processes which we are going to do. So we will see that part there. So I hope everyone have the Visual Studio Code installed in their system.
I need to check.
But that's okay. If we don't have that, it's
Oh
available for.
no, I don't have. IntelliJ IDEA I have.
Uh, I've not used that IntelliJ IDEA JetBrains
Okay.
one. But let's, for the sake of commonness here, I'm just sharing this link, right? So it's freely available there. IntelliJ is also
Okay.
good. I mean, it's not a bad tool there, but it's a bit of outdated. And
Mm-hmm.
this one is having support for almost all the programming languages there. And things are
Okay.
much easy in this one. It actually like, um, like earlier we used to have .NET Studio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft Studio. So it's an open source version of that.
So today we are going to use it or tomorrow?
Yes, yes. Yeah, it's okay. You can install it up later on. I can show it up the basic
Okay.
things today, and we will
Mm-hmm.
see that part. Okay. You can
Fine.
do the
Fine.
installation later on.
Okay.
I'm just sharing these details so that you can do it up, later on. It's like not we'll do
Mm-hmm.
it. Very
So.
few things we will do it up in the session, which is crucial.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, like I told you that we are going to work on the GitHub here, and GitHub is something which is, like going to work on this one. We know, like, like, see like how exactly, um, um, now again, we have like, um, Bitbucket I don't want to use. GitHub I have. Now again, GitHub account also you can go and you can create almost free. You don't have to pay any kind of any cost in there. It's like definitely going to be like a paid one, right? If the organizations or the companies want to use. But having said that, you and me, we are going to use the open source version. So that is something which like we will be able to go for that kind of an scenarios here. So that's like something which we will be following here. All right, perfect. So we are going to, I can everyone log into GitHub, guys, quickly. If you don't have the credentials, a quick sign up is going to be more than sufficient for you. It's free of cost that we can go and we can do a sign up on this one. You have to go ahead and create a repository here. So I'll just quickly do these steps in front of you, and then you will also be doing GitHub with me. So we'll go for the new DevSecOps. repository. We have public and private here, right? So we have public and private repositories both present, and we can actually configure this as per our particular requirement. Now, what is public? What is private? Now, public one is something which is like available to everyone, like you and me, we all will be able to have an access to that one, right? So I create a public repo, you will be able to have an access to that. Everyone is good, but that's not a secure thing, right? That's not a good thing, because the problem with that is that like if I have my project like a like project source code, so definitely in that case it's going to be risky if it's available publicly, right? So definitely it's going to be a difficult aspect. Now there are some public projects available there, definitely, for sure, like for example Tomcat. You see this code is there. Now why exactly this is available here and why not any other project? Because of the fact that this is an open source tool, and most of the open source tools are really going to have the repositories present over here. So that's something which is definitely going to be present over here in this one. So we will be able to follow and work on that part here. So for now, because see, most of my repositories in my account is like publicly available for everyone. Like whoever wants to go and use it, you can use it out. If you just simply go ahead and click on my username, right? If you just put it up in there, and when you go to this repository, you will be able to see my, like repos there. Well, it's like 50 to 60 repos will be available there. Now, all those repositories are public in nature. Why? Because I have created those scripts in such a way. It's not like a private repositories. They are like our public repositories only, and we are working on that. So for me right now, making a private is also fine, because that's where like I will be able to restrict it. I can give the access to someone, to the individuals, and like everyone is like really going to work on that kind of an like a setup here. So definitely that's the going to be performed like on that particular stuff there, right? So we can go for private here if you want, but I'll keep it a public so that you can have an access. So that's it. Now if you want to add a readme, automatically generated readme, we can do that. You can have a gitignore also. Now the conceptual part of this one I will show, or I will talk about later on. But let's say if I wanted to add a Java based code base over here in this one, so I can show, and I can have a Java selected here. Now, what is the purpose of this git ignore? It actually ignores some temporary files which gets created in a project. Like for example, when you have a kind of like a Java code base, there are some like .java files, there are some .class files, there are some unwanted files which is definitely going to be a present. So we don't want to include those in version control system. That's not a part of the source code. Like maybe sometimes I have my Java application running, there are some log files get generated. So I need to consider those, the fact that I don't want to mess up with those, and I want to keep them in secure location. So we can select this git ignore file. It have certain patterns which is definitely going to be ignored while performing the commits and while performing the changes. So we will come to that point. We will see those kind of an aspects on how exactly this works. But right now I'm just selecting Java because I'm just assuming that this is the kind of an code base we wanted to put it up here. So I'll come to this one later on when we will be doing the actual implementation. Now, license only comes in when you want to put it up any kind of an like a open source code. Like these are the different license which is available there. Like for example, the Apache one was having Apache license 2.0. So how exactly you want the companies or the individuals to use your source code? So we have certain licenses available, and we can use those kind of an options and those kind of an functionalities. All right. So we will be going for that kind of options here. So, and we scroll down the unlicensed. It will select the unlicensed one, and when we can Git repository. Right? Perfect. You see the unlicensed which is there, right? You got the name. This is the code base. This is the gitignore file. We got all this stuff here. So this is the kind of stuff which is going to be, like available here. So we definitely going to see that how these things are going to be set up. All right. So certain things I'm going to explain you, and then you will be also like, I will be giving you like 5-10 minutes for you to replicate and do the things here. So the first thing is like gitignore. Like I told you that these are the patterns which, it's like going to be available here, which is meant to be ignored. So the files are present there. We have license. So this license is there. And then we have the readme.md file. Everything is available. So this is a standard view of a repository, like how exactly the code is going to be present. You do have an option here to add a file, to create a new file, to upload a file. So we can go and perform that kind of stuff here. Right. So that's the like the way that how we will be going up, and we will be performing the kind of changes here. So these are the different operations. Now I want you guys to really go ahead and create a repository in GitHub and try to add some files. You also have an option to modify it. So let's try to explore the portal first, and then we will do it out with the Visual Studio Code, because ultimately Visual Studio Code is the one using which we will be like performing, and we will be executing the details here, like the different functionalities and the different setups on this one. Right? So all you have to do is you when you log into GitHub, you also have an option here to create a repository, to create a import a repository. You have the options there. We can go and we can do that. Give any name of your choice, public, private, whatever you want to create that, and we can go for the options. We can like go for the like discussions over here, and we can take care of that particular part. All right. So you have the options. Any file you open up, you have the options to, like check the raw content. You have the option to copy the content, download the one. You can edit the file also. And if you want to like go ahead and download the file or delete the file, even that option is also going to be like present over here, and we can take care of that kind of thing, like a functionalities here. So definitely that's the options which we will be following here. All right. So that's the like the way that how this is going to be, like performed. Right. So let's go ahead and create this particular component. Let's have that. Hello, can can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes, I can hear it.
Let's try to create a like repository, simple one. You are able to create the repositories. One thing I wanted to clarify here, that the reason we are able to do it because you are the owners here. This might not be the access in the actual companies. So you might be given an access like only to go and modify the repositories and all. So, but yes, this is the reason why you are able to create the repositories or delete the repositories. In fact, this settings section is available to me because you and me, we have the level of access. We can do the modifications, we can adjust those things. So that's the like the reason why we are able to modify. So we are like working with the administrator. So I just wanted to everyone know and see that how it works there. I hope everyone is able to create the repositories like you are not facing any access issue.
Yeah,
Yes,
nothing.
no.
I can able
Yeah,
to create it.
created.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, can you repeat once again?
Yeah, I can able to create it.
Okay, just try to add some files, see like perform some changes because like we are just doing the exploration on the GUI part, how programs, how command, or how the Visual Studio Code works, because by the time you will have the Visual Studio Code here tomorrow, so we'll see like how exactly we kind of setups are going to be like performed like from the command line, because that's where we have to learn. GUI is nothing is there to learn. So just try to add some files, try to do some modifications, see that how it works.
Yeah, I created few files.
Hmm. Can I get the repository links? Because if it's a public repo, I will show you exactly how can see the view of your repository. Because if it's private, I don't have an access to you unless you go and give me the access. I'll show you that also. But can you give me your repository details so that I can show you exactly how your repository is going to look like outside your credentials? Okay. See, proper repository. You go to the commits, you will see like what are the different changes done. So, you can see here, proper history is there, the GMT time zone, unique ID, even author details is also present. So you click on this, you will be able to get your, like user details. That what exactly is the user. You can go to the code and you can click on this. And here, these are the repositories. So all of them are the public repos. And that's what I will be able to see. The private repositories, we will not be able to see that. But the public one is something which we are going to see, like how exactly these setups are going to be done, going to be performed, and then according to that, we will be able to get those kind of functionalities, like those kind of options, right? So we will see about the Visual Studio Code tomorrow, and we will see like how it works over there. But yes, we have created the repository successfully. Tomorrow we will be using the Visual Studio Code, do the changes, do the modification, and we will be able to work it out with that part here. So in the Teams, in this one, I'm going to upload the document actually. I'll upload the document. I have to change some certain things in the document. And, we will see on that part there, right? So let's continue tomorrow, guys, and we'll see how exactly we will be talking about that stuff. All right. So, yep, that's it for today, guys. Let's meet tomorrow. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Mm.
Bye.